Okay, remember that they are changing my voice. I'm not gay. This video is about former Freemason Victor Ramos and some proof that he was a Freemason is on the screen. And I'm assuming that that proof is valid. However, I do not believe basically anybody else when it comes to these issues. They often tell some truth and some lies. And he's a part of some church, from what I gather, and he kind of is bigging up the church lifestyle, what have you. I do not believe that God has called him to do what he's doing, not in the truest sense of the idea, or what he did at that point in the video, rather, where he exposes this thing. So I don't want to get that confused. However, he said a lot of things that are very helpful. One thing he said is that America is satanic from head to toe. And again, I've pointed out many times that I believe every nation in the world is satanic. So he points that out. He also points out that that they kill your family if you expose them. I don't know if this happens every time, but I'm guessing it does. I believe they killed my uncle with technology. He is said to have died of leukemia, but they know how to induce these things. They caused there to be a home invasion in my father's village in Africa, where my aunt was shot in the chest and died. And I don't think it's a coincidence it was in the chest, where your heart is when heavy. They let me know that my grandmother was going to die soon, and then she died in a way that was consistent with my videos where I was exposing psychiatry, and I still expose it from time to time, mind you. And I said that a lot of these people die when they slip and they crack their skull. So she slipped in the shower and hit her head, and that's how she's said to have died. Okay, almost certainly also killed my grandmother on my mother's side as well. Both of them were old, but there's still no excuse for what they did. And some other people in my life, they've caused my little brother, have a car accident. One of my, my best friends growing up, it caused him to get in a motorcycle accident. My first girlfriend that I ever had, and I'm pretty sure she's been working with them the whole time, right? Her name was Janu, and she eventually became somebody who works for the news, and that's suspicious as well. And she was hit by a vehicle from behind or something, and partially crippled. And so, and my older brother also, when he came back from helping us keep an eye on the ranch hand, or on the stuff on the property, he was in a car accident going back to San Francisco, where he lived at the time, where a big truck, had kind of forced him into the divider. And so he suffered some damage there as well. And they caused me to get in a car accident when I was younger, going 100 miles an hour, and I was riding the back seat, the back middle, with 4 other people in the car. And I've told that story in my story. And of course, they set the stage for me to get stabbed when I was younger, and they probably were hacking both of our brains at the time. They caused one of my other best friend when growing up, we'll call him D. They caused him to, get in a fight with somebody by hacking his brain and the other person. And the fight was like the most dramatic incident that occurred when I was living by Oak Ridge Mall in the south part of San Jose, California. It's a major city, like the 11th most populated city in the country or so. And, he fell off the thing and hit his head. He jumped on the guy's Cadillac and started bashing his windows, cracking his windows with his fist. For whatever reason, the blood, there wasn't blood on the window on his fist. For whatever reason, he managed to crack the window without that occurred. That was kind of strange. And then the guy drove off, and he fell and he hit his head, and he was out cold. The police came, and he I think he awoke by the time the police came, or right after they came. And it's been a while. That was over 20 years ago. The guy who was driving the Cadillac, he was actually from Afghanistan. His name was Mustafa, and he kind of passed out, or he had some kind of heart condition, and he fainted because he didn't know if he killed D in that situation. So I do think there's a lot of evidence that shows us that yes, they killed people who exposed to Martin Luther King. Had several family members, at least one, I think it was two of them, that were killed under suspicious circumstances, or that died under suspicious circumstances. And again, we see Matthew 10, I'll put on the screen, says you're supposed to choose God over your family, right? We see it with Abraham and Isaac, right, where he offers his son, okay? We see that is a key part, and I'm supposed to separate the sheep from the goats, and you're a goat if you're not willing to put God above your family. If I could rewind time, would I do the same thing? Yes. I do the same thing and more masterfully, because as you get older, you get more experienced. However, I was ready to rule the world at 13, 10, what have you. Especially when you consider the policies of the governing class compared to what I would have done. I would have passed a global war on poverty plan. I would have ended world hunger. I would have housed everybody. I would have stopped major wars. It would have been a much better world. Obviously my governance is better than a bunch of satanic worms. Even when I was a kid, that's the case. So there you go.